Yeah. So the art of cadenzas. Without further ado, I will just starting it. What is a cadenza and how to write a piano cadenza? Of course, this is not a composition lecture, and we don't have much time anyway. It's already 9 o'clock in China, so I will just show it in a glance. Yeah. So this is some topic we are focusing on today. This is some point of view of what you can expect. And if you have any question, please ask at the end of the presentation. We have the Q&A time, please. Okay. So what is a cadenza? And then why we need a cadenza? Is cadenza an improvisation? And then I will also lead through, of course, not so detailed, but like the development, you know, the development and transformation of the cadenza throughout from the Baroque period. For example, the Bach, for example, the Bach keyboard concerto number 1 in D minor, and then how it developed until Mozart piano concerto number 9, John Homer, who he's he's the first one who write the piano entrance in the beginning, not at the end, for example. And then it will followed by maybe Beethoven fourth concerto, which start from like, and it start with all this piano playing, and it's really transformation. I mean, phenomenal in a way. It really changed the whole thinking process of writing a concerto, for example. And then it will continue with the Beethoven first concerto, which I wrote my own cadenza. And then we will do some analysis if we have time. Okay, so let's continue. Cadenza. So from Britannica.com, I was copying this. Uh, Wait a minute. Yeah, I was copying this. So it was accompanied. Yeah, you can see. Oh, sorry, I was so fast. Accompanied Barbara passage introduced on near the close of a movement of a composition, and then it serves as a brilliant climax, particularly in piano concerto, violin concerto, any concerto. And this is the place where you can say, "This is me. Look at me. This is how I play. This is my skill." This is like the way of how you can show off your virtuosity in a way. I mean, it's concerto anyway. So, for example, this is my first page of my own cadenza. Yeah. So this cadenza, it was written in 2019. Yeah, commissioned by my good friend and my very own junior as well, Mona. When she was participating in competition, the classical competition throughout the Indiana University in Bloomington. So she commissioned me to write this, and then yeah, I mean it took me about 3 weeks to write it, and of course, first concerto I have already played before the whole three movements, so it's even easier for me to write because I have already know the tutti part, the first 2 minutes before. That's why it's so easy for me to take the material. Maybe it will be harder if I was commissioned to write number 2, for example. Yeah. So the next one, yeah, some trivia, just to kickstart. Why do we need a cadenza? So, I mean, in my very own words, yeah, as I say, to show the virtuosity skills. And then maybe one will ask, is it only found in concerto? Can it be found in sonata, for example? Well, the answer is no, because for example, the famous Beethoven Kreutzer Sonata, you can create your own cadenza in the solo, in the solo chamber pieces like this Kreutzer. Beethoven writes his own cadenza in for the violin solo, this famous one. And then can we recreate it? Of course. Why? Because I went to a live performance by Robert Levine. He played the third Beethoven concerto when it was in Glasgow last time. And then it was stunning. It was stunning. because it is so different from what we always heard. Usually, if we buy, we buy the scores originally or we found from internet, we see the Beethoven's own composed, he own handwritten the cadenza. But Robert Levine recreate everything. I mean, I I was lucky to have a masterclass with him once on the Beethoven fourth concerto, and he was also recreate everything. I mean, he's such a monster, I think it's very genius. So I managed to find many trace way back. Let's go back a bit to this Baroque style. So this cadenza actually is already developed, in Baroque period. So the use of the cadenza actually started from the focal area. Some people, I was a repetitor, so I play along with singers a lot of times in the opera studios last time, and also I was accompanied singers mainly when I was studying and also having the job at that time. So actually, singers always have this liberty of the time to uh, to sing their own. They have this coloratura. If you're soprano, maybe you are lirico leggero, for example. If you're a singer, so this we can see this Bach keyboard concerto number one is already started from here. Maybe I can sight read this one. For example, you usually a cadenza you end with chord one, like chord one, one C or chord 1 6 4, for example. But this one you start the cadenza, or maybe later I will mention about Ein Ging or short passage in with from the chord 7 diminished. Yeah, for example. So you have this liberty. I mean, this remind me of this chromatic fantasy and fugue. You have this liberty of running notes. Yeah. Maybe I want to ask Christine, is my piano sounds clear?
It's clear, but it's just a little bit. The sound is very thin.
Christine, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because
Because
it's thin.
uh,
It's
I'm
a little
I'm
bit
I'm
distant.
using okay, I will try because I'm using digital piano, not on the top. So, but I hope it's still useful in some
It's,
parts. Yeah. So maybe this is like the the fantasia, the fantasy of the Bach, which also implemented in this. Yeah. Let's don't be too serious first. I'm sure many people know Peter Borch here. If you like a comedian, so I found this quote when I was a little boy and played this little strum. My father used to hit me on the head with a newspaper every time I stopped the cadenza. So this is true. I mean, list. If we know something from the list has little melody and more decoration. That's what Chopin accused Liszt of, something like that. But yes, this is what Peter Borch said, and I totally can relate with this. Yeah, you have this. I'm sure everyone know. Yeah, and then you have this double third, which is not I mean, it's not very difficult, but of course difficult for some people, and all this difficult passage. So this is cadenza, means some like short cadenza in the solo piano in this. Okay, so let's start from a bit of historical background. Way back to the Jean-Jacques Rousseau, a French. This is what he mentioned. Cadenza is a part which the author leaves to the will of the principal performer. And you see what I have have put this bold. it should be performed relatively in the character of the song, which means you have to take the material, you have to take the theme, the motivic pattern, everything from the composers directly. It should communicate to the performance ideas, but it should follow a good pace. Of course, you cannot just anyhow write the cadenza, write all scale, just scale pattern and so on. It needs to have an artistic value in it. Yeah. So, but again, cadenza is a way to show your composition skill as well. Second, Joseph Joachim Quantz. This I was taking the source from this on playing the flute or Quantz Versuch eine Anweisung, die Flöte Transversier zu spielen. I think this is also one book that if you are learning in the conservatory or in university, you will definitely go through this book. This is as important as CPE Bach essay on the true art of keyboard playing, if some people know. Yeah, this is a very like top-notch reference. So I mean, when I was preparing this slide, I was doing like some of heavy research as well of a few from this article and also from internet, my books and so on. So I managed to conclude that probably, if I'm not wrong, Quantz is the first person who furnished the historical note of where the cadenza is from. So as early as Quantz. However, it was roughly between 1710 to 1716, the present, type of the cadenza, during which the bass pauses became fashionable. So where you have this, you play this. For example, if you play this Mozart famous 466 piano concerto D minor, so you have you end in chord 1C, right? Okay, maybe I will write this for some people so that you will know. Yeah, so you always end in 1C or you have or end in 164. And then the cadenza start usually like this. Okay. And then it was between 1710 and 1716, which if we think this is where Bach, Johann Sebastian Bach, was on the was on the spotlight at that moment, for example, because with his keyboard concerto, and then it was soon followed by Mozart, Haydn, and so on. And then fermata or retard at libretto in the middle of the piece, you know, it was maybe from the earlier origin. So this was actually already started during the Renaissance. Renaissance was between 16th to 17th, yeah, 1650, something like that. So around this period of time, it was already started this fermata, actually. And then, of course, we are talking about this Rococo style, C.P.E. Bach. If we know some of C.P.E. Bach sonata, for example, he used so many, he played with the clavichord. And during that clavichord, you have this what we call Bebung or this vibrato. You can play a vibrato on the piano. And then from that onwards, you can play, you can play whatever you want in the period of 5 to 10 seconds, for example. Yeah, so I'm going to explain more about this cadenza versus Ein Gang. So this was a hot topic during my studies at one of the modules because I was having an argument with my teachers. This is Ein Gang, and my teachers, no, this is a cadenza. I say no, Ein Gang because it's so short. But no, but my teachers said no because cadenza because it was finished with chord 1C, but it's only within two measures, 2 bars, for example. So so let's look closely. Ein Gang is an improvised passage called for by a fermata over the dominant chord 5. And then cadenza, on the other hand, is finished by chord 1C. For example, if you have D minor or C major, for example, let's say C major. So you start the cadenza with the chord Sol, Do, Mi, or G, C, E, for example, the bass is G. Yeah. So let's look directly for this one. This is the example of Ein Gang. This taken from this Beethoven famous 37 number 1. You know this one? Or maybe some people know more with this this sonata. So this is the transition from the third movement to the fourth movement. And if you can see, this is the Ein Gang. This is how it starts. You see? I'm finding this. You know, it's very short. It's just a variation. Yeah. Of course, you can say, but this is chord 5. So this is what we call Ein Gang, chord 5B, right? Or 5/6 in theory. Yeah. So it's very short, and then you and you continue with this. And then let's see from another example. This is from I think what is one? This one, and then this the second movement. We started in C major. See, this is a C major, and this is a G major, right? Which is the dominant key, and just suits for this Ein Gang. So this is not cadenza because it's only one, it's only one bar, you know. And yeah, usually Beethoven is kind of like the pioneer of this Ein Gang, I have to say. Of course, CPE bar is the first one, but Beethoven really make it very, very famous. And then everyone knows this Moonlight, this one. And then you have this one. This is chord 5, and we call this Ein Gang. And then you end it. Yeah, you end this. So this is the example of Ein Gang, 3 Ein Gang that I have introduced so far. Yeah, so continue with this. Usually in Baroque, in Baroque music, the continuo, for example, or the harpsichord player or the contrabass player, they only read the figure bass, and they can already improvise to a melody line that is way back during the Baroque music. Of course, the singers of the bel canto, like the opera or aria, they put ornaments everywhere. That's why we call it highly Baroque, or that the transition towards the classical. That's why Baroque and classical, they are very, let's say, very different, really drastically changed because of this, because there are too much ornaments, and then somebody like Haydn and Mozart come in and then put everything symmetrical and just with Alberti bass and simple and so on. Yeah, so this if we want to continue with the cadenza, by the beginning of the Romantic, which is the 19th century, this improvised cadenza already disappeared actually. So we can see from the first concerto, second concerto, third concerto of Beethoven, the cadenza was still behind. However, if you see the fifth concerto, the Emperor, Beethoven actually already written, write the cadenza in the beginning. So everyone must follow it with like this. It's already written. Why? Because if you are going to play, for example, if I were born in the day of the Beethoven, era, I want to play Beethoven. I mean, who on earth anyone would dare to challenge Beethoven's own cadenza? Nobody. He's too genius. He's too genius. So nobody will even dare to to play it in the public. And as a consequence, the the concerto is never performed except by Beethoven himself because nobody's there. No publisher is going to publish anyway. That's why Beethoven was forced to write his own cadenza, and that is the reason. And even the first concerto, Beethoven write three types of cadenza. Yeah, for example, this. Uh, so let me check if I have some thing. No, I don't have this. Yeah, soon it follows by the contemporary like this Greek Schumann, this romantic concerto in a way like this. So let's listen to this Mozart first, which I want going to share. Okay, I hope this works. Yeah, listen to this Mozart, and then the piano enter like after 3 bars. Is the sound clear in your place, Christine? Yeah.
It's
Okay.
clear.
Okay. So this Mozart, as early as Mozart number 9 concerto. Okay. So let's see the thing like Schumann. I mean, I'm just using this piano score so everyone can see. As we see, the first part is already started with the piano. And there's some orchestra coming. Okay, so we know this is the melody, but what happened in this beginning is really transformational. Like this. So, I mean, this version I think is too fast for me. It's not my preference. And then later we will see that this is actually go like this concerto, for example. I didn't open this, but I'm sure everyone knows this concerto. So let me continue as the time constraint as well. Yeah, so at least you know the big this one, and then you have all this big passage in the beginning, which is yeah, thanks to Beethoven. Beethoven introduced it in the beginning. Yeah, if not, then until now probably we still need to write our own cadenza like this. So yes, can you imagine that actually so many people attempted to write the cadenza for the first Beethoven concerto? Is even more than the fifth concerto, even more than the third concerto C minor. Like Beethoven wrote 3 versions, Czerny rewrote 2 versions, Moscheles, Rubinstein, Busoni, Karl Reinecke, Brahms, and even until Glenn Gould, Wilhelm Kempf, Robert Levine, and now me, Wilson Chu is trying to write as well. I'm so unashamedly writing as well. So, but I mean, it doesn't mean that everyone cannot write. Everyone could attempt, and actually, I am so encouraging you to write. And uh, now let's move on to this analysis of the cadenza. Yeah, how did the Beethoven write his own cadenza comparing towards the other pianists? Unfortunately, I don't find the PDF for the Beethoven, but I found the PDF from a few. Yeah, so let's say this. I mean, this is how I write this. So probably you can screenshot this if you want, the step by step. I mean, when I make this, it looks to me like writing, playing piano for dummies 101, for example, like this. But this is no. I mean, everyone is a new learner. So when I start this, I analyze the tutti section. Make sure you listen to the orchestral part. You read the full score many, many times before you try to attempt it. And of course, I mean, by far as in my most respect, you need to also be able to play the piano, right? Of course, or playing the instrument. The second thing, step 2, identify the important musical material. Where is the first theme? Where's the second theme, and so on. Step 3, you need to be equipped with the strong fundamental skills, composition technique, piano dexterity, piano technique, and so on. You need to know it. Step 4, you have to try different possibilities of these transpositions within this musical subject. For example, I play or and it can be it can be many things, but it has to be made sense. That is most important thing. And when you all ready with this, then you just need to put all the puzzle in one piece, construct the structure. So now I want to invite you to listen to the Beethoven one. Beethoven one may I think it only takes the tutti. Oops. I wonder how I can exit this. Oops, sorry. Okay. Okay, so let's listen to maybe first 5 minutes, and I'll mute myself and check the pianoforte, the tutti part, and then later we will move around with this material. How many materials that Rubinstein, me, myself are using? Okay, so here we go. new material. See, the whole 3 minutes is only the tutti. So you need to know how many materials. I mean, at least you have found 5 or 6 if we are going to see in the bigger scales in this tutti. And then the piano comes, new material. A new material coming in. A new pattern, chromatic upward. Okay. New material. Da, 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 da. Piano enter. Dolce. Okay, just a short thing. I personally asked Robert Levine myself why he play F natural here. He play F natural, and actually, if you search, if you check the book Handler Verlag and the or Wiener, the Vienna Universal Edition, the concerto is actually different. So apparently, Beethoven himself, when he played this one, his top note is F natural. He doesn't have F sharp. That's why Robert Levine play F. Can you imagine? Can you imagine like it's so, I mean, it's so Korean to me. So but in a way, you need to know some historical perspective if you are following the HIPP, for example, historical informed or not. Yeah. And then let's see the last material before I stop. This is a new material. All new. This new one. Check this out. Doubling. This is also another important material which everyone uses in the cadenza. It's all descending movement. Yeah. Okay. I will stop here. So yeah, there are so many. We learn so many material on this passage. So let's see. Now I'm going to share. Um, I'm going to share my PDF. Okay, I hope everyone can look at this. So I have marked down some of the material. I mean, I have the full score, but I think this is easier for us to look. Dum bum bum bum. This is the first motive. Motive. Second thing, you have this is the second one. Okay, so we have two, and then we have three. This one, the scale it upwards or scale it downwards, the third one. And then we have this, the second theme. We have this one, which is going to transpose to a few times. And then the last one, yes, we have this. This is this one. And then the piano part as well, we have this. There's something. We have still again the same one. And then if we see this one, the new one. Okay, we have this scale. And this is very kind of like this, technical challenging really, this one. And we have this. Yes, this. Now, in my compositions, this the full score. Yeah, this is my own cadenza, as we see. Later, I'm going to play. I have my good friend here. I think Valerie is here. Valerie is. I asked Valerie to play it as well, and for her competition. Maybe later, Valerie, you can unmute yourself and maybe you can tell us a bit. Okay, so I am using this the first material. Okay, and then the second one I'm using the second material. Remember the scale upwards. Yeah, and then another one, babam, and then of course this is so important. Me. And basically I try to put everything. It's like how to say, in Indonesian we have this food called gado-gado or rojak, for example, in Indonesian, or yeah, in Chinese I don't know, yeah, but everything I try to fit in all together in this one, you see. And then this is the tutti part. I realize none of the composers like Czerny, Beethoven himself, Moscheles write this part. So I try to include this part. No one is using this part. That's why I try, I am going to use this part to make this more special, something like that. So, and then I used to see what the key that I'm using. I'm using D flat major, which actually, if we are going to use the circle of fifths, C major here. Okay, of course we have F major here and then B flat major here, the second, and then D flat major is so far. Do mi sol, and they are nothing in common. So this is really a challenge for you as a composer, how to construct the transposition and then trying to make it not the same like the other composers. It's really challenging. And then of course, if Beethoven has this G major, then I'm using A major, something like this. And then you have this triplet as well. Why? Because this triplet is a very important element in this piano concerto. Yeah. So without further ado, maybe I will play. I mean, I have also, if you see, this is Rubinstein, Anton Rubinstein. Anton Rubinstein is the one who write this one melody in F. If everyone knows this, not Arthur Rubinstein, okay, not the famous Arthur Rubinstein. So yeah, I already analyzed it, but I think time constraint. I don't think I will really go into detail. And this is what about Moscheles as well. Moscheles write 11 pages. That's why, if you know Hummel, Johann Nepomuk Hummel, this Bohemian composer was Beethoven's rival, in terms of performance. He already warned, don't write too long cadenza. Don't write too long cadenza because everyone can be bored, you know. So he already warned it. And also, some cadenza are actually really, really great. Yeah. So I am going to open this. Let me check. Yeah. I hope I can share this. Yeah. I hope you can see this. This is Valerie. So this is how it sounds in my cadenza. Oops, sorry. Okay. Yeah. Is Valerie here? Maybe. Can maybe I want
Sounds
to.
good.
Yeah. Hello, Valerie.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Okay.
on the beginning now. So yeah, first
Yes.
of all, I want to say that I really enjoyed learning your cadenza, and as well as performing it. I find it a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, as for difficulty, of course, there's some more challenging parts to the cadenza,
Mhm.
especially the technical passages. But I think after a few drills and practice on the technical parts, it's more comfortable and it actually works really well for the hand. It's very natural. And overall, I think that it's very well structured. I could hear all the motifs and themes being used from the first movement. And I think that it could be Beethoven's fourth cadenza, actually.
Thank you so much for your nice word, Valerie. Yeah, and really, really thank you so much for playing in and recorded it and sent to me. I mean, this really is my honor for you to play mine cadenza. Thank you so much.
Thank you as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. So you are not still in Glasgow, right?
Yeah, I'm currently in Scotland now, Glasgow.
So now, okay. So yeah, thank you so much, Valerie, for giving maybe yeah, maybe you can play more concerto, and I mean I can write for you next time as well. Of course, yeah, yeah. So thank you so much, Valerie. I will continue a bit more since it's already nearly 1 hour as well. Okay, so I am going to continue my presentation apparently. So yeah, so let me check this. Apparently I don't think I can open everything due to the time constraint because we have question and answers. Yeah, hopefully yes, yeah. So Farilin, I mean we both studies. I mean I was an alumni from the Scotland Conservatory, and Valerie was my junior as well, and my very very good friend for many many years actually. So yeah, I mean this is the material of musical elements. I mean I already explained. Okay, so later question and answer. I mean after this. So yeah, this is some of the conclusions. Cadenza, like for example the Greek concerto in A minor. Here. This very beginning you have the timpani roll and then you have this continue play. And in some sense, this is very similar to Schumann. And I mean, both of them have the same key, A minor concerto as well. Yeah. And then this Prokofiev Concerto number 2. Um, actually, I was going to show it, but it's too long. I don't think I have. I think I have to skip it. And then, for example, Ein Ging, what is of concerto? If you know before you have this awesome movement. And then of course the Tchaikovsky concerto, the famous. I mean, Christine can play better than me for this Tchaikovsky. She played so many times. So yeah, I mean this is all Ein Ging and cadenza. And what I want going to show you is this is a sample of the 20th century cadenza. Okay, so you can listen to this Britten Piano Concerto, which I'm going to show you my own playing. I think this is my last one, my last cadenza. So this is how it is. Okay, no, yeah, so this one. So I'm going to show you this. Yeah. Okay, so this is the cadenza of me playing the Britten Piano Concerto. You can listen. This is very short cadenza, like 2 minutes, but this is the 20th century. different keys and different techniques. Ensemble. Yeah, something like this. So you can see that how to say, yeah, let's check a bit, just a bit, the cadenza. So if you see, this is the score it is, and then the cadenza looks really different. I mean, it's kind of exploratory. If I want to use the word exploratory like this, the cadenza senza misura, there's no measure. Okay, you have this all ring like the bells ringing, and then it's all free like this. You have a very long cadenza like this, all these running notes. I mean, the usual running notes. But for example, this. For example, this. This is something that you cannot find in classical cadenza or even in Schumann cadenza, or even like Rachmaninoff, for example. I mean, Rachmaninoff, of course, is more heavy in texture, whereas the Tchaikovsky is not so heavy, but it's all okay in a way. I mean, yeah. So, I mean, if you judge by this compositional aspect, it's really, let's see, it's really exploratory. There's no bar line and so on. It looks like like a fantasy, and then it comes back again. Yeah, so it's actually not easy. I mean, of course, cadenza is never easy, especially 20th century. But it gives you an idea of how you can perceive a cadenza. Okay, so of course you need to have the piano versatility, piano technique first. Yes. So yeah, I think it's about the time now for question and answers. So the conclusion, the art of cadenza is a serious matter, at least for me, and a platform for concert musicians. I believe like Christine has already plays a lot of cadenza, Rachmaninoff, Tchaikovsky, and so on. I mean, yeah. So I believe every performing musician like us, like everyone here, I seriously encourage you to, of course, learn from the master, play the existing cadenza first, and then you can try to write your own. Why not? Yeah. So yeah. Thank you so much to the organizers like C. Christine, the Irama Studio, and of course my office, Chengdu University, the CCAA, College of Chinese and ASEAN Arts. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact my Instagram, or you can follow and subscribe my YouTube channel, although I didn't really post a lot nowadays, or you can write in email. As yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you so much, Wilson, for sharing your expertise in how to compose and how you got the idea from reading the score, especially the 2D, and how you extract the motifs and make it into your cadenza. It was very excellent cadenza that you wrote for Beethoven No. 1. Bravo.